Excuse me, could you point me in the direction of ScreamCity? Never mind, I think I found it.
Hey horror freaks, welcome back to ScreamCity. I'm your host Monica.
And I'm Jessica, and welcome to our 25th episode, where we will be discussing The Black Phone.
25 episodes.
I know, dude.
That's insane. I think we're good to cut it.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
We're good, guys. That's the end of the episode.
This is the last one.
Yeah.
But before we jump into the movie, what has been your peak and pit for the past few days, the past week?
My peak is that I am going out of town tomorrow to one of my favorite cities, where I hope to one day be able to move to. My pit is that spring break is over.
Spring break is over and you're back to the hustle.
I am.
Okay.
Because I am an educated,
educated girly pop.
Girly pop,
yeah.
Latina, first gen.
Anyway, adding all the teams.
Whatever, yeah.
Of course, love
but
that.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
What about you?
Pit for this week, anxiety.
Yeah.
The anxiety of just general life, kicking my butt. But peak would have to be nothing.
Oh. Oh, well, I guess one of your peaks is we went to Elm Street Toys.
Oh, you know what? Yes, my peak is that we visited Elm Street Toys, and it is amaze beans. Any chance that we get to visit a horror shop,
yeah,
it's our favorite time.
Yeah,
favorite pastime. Of course. All right.
But finally getting into this movie, if you haven't had the chance to watch this movie, just know that there will be spoilers as always, so don't say we didn't warn you.
This movie is a year old, so you kind of had some chance to go watch it.
Yeah.
But I think it's on streaming services now, so definitely take a watch. Or watch it.
What? But just to give a quick synopsis of this movie, this is coming straight from Google.
Hey, Google.
Finney Shaw is a shy but clever 13-year-old boy who's been held in a soundproof basement by a sadistic masked killer. When a disconnected phone on the wall starts to ring, he soon discovers that he can hear the voices of the murderer's previous victims, and they are dead set on making sure that what happened to them doesn't happen to Finney.
I love that.
How
that
sweet.
Last sentence was beautiful.
It was.
They were like, hey,
Made
man.
me want to cry, bro.
Honestly.
Yeah.
So with that being said, the synopsis, great one. Thanks, Google. Jess, what are your three for this movie, your top three? So your favorite scene, kill, and your first impression.
So my first impression, I watched this movie twice as a screening.
Love it.
On the big screen, basically. Yeah. The first time was with my sister, and the second one was with you and you are Monica and Kelly.
Monica and Kelly.
Yeah. And so the first time I watched it, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was just so interesting. It was just so fun to see both Kelly and Monica's reactions after I had already seen it, because I'm just like, oh, if you thought that was it,
if you thought that was bad, just give it a second.
Just wait.
Just give it a second.
Wait. But yeah, first impression, I genuinely liked it. I thought it had, so y'all know this about me, but I'm not a huge psychological person.
Right.
I do think this has definitely
this definitely has some psychological bits to it,
elements
for sure.
to it. But it wasn't so crazy that I was like, oh, I can't watch it. Right. I liked this amount of psychological.
Good.
My favorite scene, I have a lot.
I know.
I love the end where all the previous kids kind of come out, like, as Finn is killing.
Yeah, like defending himself.
Yeah,
basically.
defending himself basically. When they all come out, and then I think it's Robin. He's like, I didn't get the chance to kill you, but Finney's gonna do it for me, hijo de puta, or whatever. Oh my god, it literally made me cry. So, like, I actually teared up during that, because it was just so genuine, and it's really rare to see in horror movies nowadays, that kind of not lack of empathy, but like that that empathy, actually.
Oh, yeah, from, like, different... Maybe...
From other victims.
Yeah, for sure.
To our current lead protagonist.
Yeah,
so
I think it helps.
I thought that was really, really cute. And, of course...
It is pretty cute.
One of my favorite other scenes was where Gwen is like, Jesus, what the fuck? It was so funny.
She's like, Jesus, what the fuck?
Yeah.
She's like, because she prayed the night before, right? Because
I remember, but it was so funny both times watching it. And the audience reaction was just amazing.
I'm going to be honest. Any scene that Gwen was in was like a top favorite.
Yeah.
I think she's kind of the comedic relief in this movie, and it is the cutest and the funniest thing.
Yeah.
But I love that she was always a protector of Vinny. She always made sure that there was some type of laugh or smile coming from him. And I loved it. I think she did,
even though she herself was going through shit with her ugly ass dad,
100%,
which I will never forgive. I don't give a shit if he. I will also never forget
after the movie. You were like, you want to know the scariest part about his character, and then I was like, don't tell me that he's an actual abuser, and you're like, no, that's his real hair.
Yeah,
and it's his real hair. Like if you look up, what is it, like pictures?
Jeremy Davis.
Yes,
Davies.
pictures. But of him at like screenings and it worked with his character, but I would have expected
it also worked with the time period
100%.
that we were in.
It's like a puffy mullet.
Yeah.
And it's the funniest
It was very interesting.
Yeah. Okay, anyway. Your favorite kill.
Yeah, my favorite kill. So technically a lot of kills are insinuated in this movie,
right.
but only one is actually really shown. Two?
The grabber.
You're right. You're so right.
Grabber and the brother.
Grabber and Max. I have to say, obviously Max's was like, you know.
I was gonna say, see, in my head, I already know. Are you choosing the grabbers?
Yes.
I was gonna say in my head, I was like, when I was working on the script, I was like, I feel like Jessica's gonna choose the grabbers because she loves a revenge.
Yeah,
like type
I
of
sure
kill.
do. Well, here's the thing. Max's was definitely like a shock factor.
Right.
I saw it coming from a million miles away, but it's just the way that it was.
Oh, 100%.
You know, done.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Alrighty.
That happened. Yeah. So Max's was definitely like, what the fuck? But y'all know me. I love the grabbers, especially. I was just like, oh, it's just so satisfying.
It is.
And listen,
we love a satisfying kill.
We sure do. I love me some Ethan Hawke.
Oh, I love Ethan Hawke too.
I love Ethan Hawke. I love that man so much. I really do. But it was so satisfying seeing his shit get rocked.
Oh, 100%.
By
get the shit rocked.
A fucking like 13, 14-year-old.
Love.
So
he got what he deserved.
He sure did.
Yeah. Love.
Yeah.
I love that.
Anyway, what about you, Monica?
So my first impression, Jess kind of knows about it just because she was there. So we watched it together along with our friend Kelly. I feel the entire time I was just gasping and I was hitting you and just being like, oh my fucking gosh. But this movie had me on the edge of my seat and I loved every minute of it. Like, I left the theater wanting to know all about the behind the scenes about it. I wanted to know about everyone who has a role in this movie. I left shocked, but I don't know, I left shocked in a way that I was very like, wow, I wasn't expecting for that movie to be so good. As far as favorite scene, it was a difficult one because I too loved a lot of the scenes that were in this, but one that I really loved was where Finney is talking. Like, I loved any of the scenes where Finney was talking to the other victims.
Yes.
Because we sort of get that insight of like, you know, how they died and like what their story
was. What they did to fight, what they did
like
to
what
fight
worked
back.
and what didn't work.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like a process of elimination of like, hey, you can try this, but let me tell you, I tried it already. It didn't work.
It did not work. I got my ass
exactly. But I will say that the interaction that I loved the most was Robin's, because one, we get to actually see Robin as a character at the beginning of the movie. So of course, when the grabber unfortunately grabbed him, you would have thought Robin would have been the one to like fight himself through.
Here's the thing. What confused me the most is during the scene where the grabber grabs Robin, we see Robin walking toward the van and the grabber coming out of the van. Is that correct?
I think so, but it's like a really slow motion. And I guess, are you getting to like, where the hell was he?
No, my thing is like, why didn't he just run? Like, I would run the fuck away if I saw.
I will say, I was also a little confused. Not confused, but I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things where, like, I think they wanted to create this character for Finney specifically because, I mean, Finney is shy. In all other words, like, he's weak. And then they give us, like, these other characters like Gwen and, like, Robin who are there to help defend him, but also to kind of give him that strength that he can't really find within himself. And it's really sad that we didn't get to see Robin
get to fight
back.
But I guess that kind of goes, now that I'm kind of answering my own thing, but at the end of the day.
At the end of the movie, Robin did what he did to help him find that courage.
But I was going to say, like, at the end of the day, Robin's literally just a 13-year-old boy.
That's literally what I was getting
and
at, too. He's still a child.
He's still a child.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he's a badass, and yes, he can, beat a bitch
he's
up.
Definitely gone through shit. But,
right.
like, at the end of the day, he's still a kid, and I'm sure curiosity, unfortunately, killed the cat. So, but kind of going into that, one of my favorite scenes was where Finney is talking with Robin, and Robin encourages him to fight back. And that scene itself made my heart cry, and Robin 100% deserved better. Mm-hmm. But I remember because you were like, I just need you to remember one thing before we watch this movie. And then I was like, what? And you were doing the little dance that Robin teaches Finney.
Oh my God.
You were like, that. I need you to remember that. And I was like, I don't know what that means. Yeah. and then after we watched it, like in the movie, I was like, oh my God, that is so sad.
Dude.
And that is so fucking sad.
No, I definitely do think that Robin and Finney's relationship was the cutest thing ever.
100%.
And I obviously would have loved to see more prior to death, of course.
We got like a glimpse.
Yeah. But I will say, I appreciated the fact that we had some Latino representation.
That's another thing that I thought that's what you were going to mention earlier whenever Robin says his line in Spanish.
In a horror movie and a movie set in the 70s.
Yeah,
you know 100%. What I mean? Really rare.
Yeah.
So
I loved it too. And I think it helps to show like their relationships, like their relationships like this existed. Because also Finney and Gwen don't look like they lived in the best area.
Right, yeah.
So I'm sure they kind of insinuated at that too. I don't know. There was just something about like, I think we got a glimpse of their relationship at the beginning and at the end, and it genuinely made me tear up and cry when he was encouraging him and showing him how to fight.
The scene where they're doing it at the same time.
Yes,
Robin's kind of behind him
because it's like his ghost behind him, and then he's like, it is the cutest thing. And then when Finney actually executes that same thing when he's actually killing the grubber, he like knocks him the hell out, and I loved it. And that scene alone was like a 10 out of 10 for me. I was feeling so many things. I was anticipated because I was like, oh my God, he's for real going to kill the grabber. And 2, I was really sad because Robin should have been alive to help him teach him in person. It was just like a mixture and pot of emotions. So that scene by itself was really good. Now, as far as my favorite kill, you are right, there's only unfortunately 2. So out of the 2, I will say I liked how Max died. I like the shock, not the shock factor, but like you're expecting him to die, but it's one of those that like I thought the grabber was eventually going to find... Well, I don't know. I wasn't really expecting... Like, he wasn't really on my mind. Like, his death wasn't something that I was trying to process. I was trying to process to see if Finney would get out or not.
Yeah.
I loved how he died because it was really sad because he figured out the case. And that's all that he wanted to do throughout the whole movie. So he figured it out, and he was so close, and he wanted to comfort Finney. Like, hey, dude, no, it's cool. It's cool. Like, I got you. I found you. And then his brother, his own brother, it really be your own.
It really do be your own.
It really do be in your own family. And he ended up killing him. And it was very unfortunate and very sad.
So I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks this, but anytime I see an actor that I really like get killed, I'm like, oh.
You're like, why?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I know James Ransom is kind of problematic in his own way, but I don't know. I just knowing him from It, I'm just like, oh.
Oh, I was gonna say he's been in quite a few things that we enjoy a lot, and horror specifically. Yeah. So we love seeing them.
And he's on Sinister.
And yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And that's the thing that we were talking about. How in both of the movies he's with Ethan Hawke, and he desperately wants to solve the case with him. But yeah. Is there something that you felt like didn't hit well for you in this movie, or that you were like, nah?
Not really. I will say a few things. First one is Again, I did enjoy this movie. I think the movie did great without it. This is just me being needy.
Yeah.
But I think I would have liked to see the grabber's history.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe how he kind of was raised.
Became the grabber.
Became a villain. Yeah.
I love a villain origin story.
Yeah. So that's one thing. My second thing is my brother hated this movie.
Yeah.
with all his passion, like with all his heart.
Right.
He really did not like this movie. And I think maybe it's just because it probably, I don't want to say it hit home, because trust me, we never went through this, or especially he didn't. But I think he's probably just a little bit more sensitive to this type of
of course. I mean, I will say it's there's heavily insinuation of abuse.
Yeah.
And at home with the grabber especially. I think there's something about any type of movie, whether it's horror, drama, like anything like that involves kids, makes it so much more uncomfortable to watch, because children are supposed to be the things that everyone else is supposed to protect, and then for that same reason, like we had the conversation, I think, the other day, that like some people like the shock factor. So the reason that some people didn't like this movie was because they didn't get to see how the children died,
right?
Or how they got kidnapped, or what their story was. But it's like, me as a watcher, I'm not 100% sensitive to a lot of things, but I think when it comes to these things, I 100% understand why it's not necessarily needed for a movie. As long as you heavily insinuate that something happened to them. I saw the aftermath. I saw what they looked like afterwards as ghosts, and I'm like, that's enough for me to be like, okay, cool. I could see they got fucked up. And so much as like that shock factor, I'm glad that a lot of movies and shows are shying away from the shock factor, because it's triggering. It's triggering for a lot of people who have actually gone through these things that don't want to relive it when they're trying to watch something to get away from what they're trying to forget.
Another scene that, I mean, I can't say it's one of my favorites because it caused so much emotional trauma and
100%.
anxiety to me, but I don't know. I feel like I was on the edge of my seat. Everyone was. Yeah. Everyone was on the edge of their seat during this, but when Finney is actually able to escape, and he's running. He literally
he escaped.
He was so close.
He escaped.
In my mind, I actually think I said this out loud, like kind of whispered it to myself. I was like, you can do it. And he
It is so sad.
But getting into the cast a little bit, this movie did have a great cast. I feel like we say this all the time, but
this movie did have a great cast.
Yeah,
I like this cast a lot.
Just to name a few, which is probably everyone.
To name the entire cast and crew.
To name the entire cast and crew. We've got Ethan Hawke, Mason Thames.
I think it's Mason Thames.
Miguel Caceres Mora, Madeline McGraw, which, may I just mention, she is Violet McGraw's sister, aka Katie from Megan.
Katie from Megan. Like, she plays the girl
whose friend is Megan.
Whose friend is Megan. Okay, yeah, they do look alike a lot.
They do. Brady Hepner, Jeremy Davis, Tristan Pravong, James Ransom, and of course, like, so many more.
Dude, shout out to Madeline McGraw. I love her so much. I think she's amazing. I will say, her sister's also really good. Have you watched Megan?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, Megan, she does really good in that too. Like, her sister is like, if they're acting like this while they're young, I can only imagine how well they're going to do as they grow up a little bit and kind of have more experiences with different roles. So, shout out to both of them for being in two iconic movies. Megan was pretty funny. I watched it not that long ago, and it was pretty good. I liked it for what it was.
I know Mason, Miguel, Brady, and Tristan are all really good friends in real life.
Are they?
Which made me really happy.
Sweet.
And I also have very high expectations for them.
I loved Mason's acting in this movie. Mason's acting in this is like, I genuinely believe that, like, if I met him in real life, I would have been like, did that actually happen to you?
Yeah.
Like, did you have to do
like, are you okay?
Like, are you okay? Because that was some deep,
yeah,
some pretty deep acting there. Let's move a little bit ahead. So we are now going to go on IMDb. and find some facts and see how true or untrue we feel they are.
I'll start with this one. It says the grabber is a clown in the short story, but Hill himself suggested that in a post-it world, they couldn't keep that and should instead switch him to a magician. Early drafts of the script also described the masks as leather ones with a smile or a frown, but Scott Derrickson knew they'd be the centerpiece of the film's marketing, so he spent a lot of time in designing it. And right before we start discussing that, I totally forgot that I wanted to mention, Monica and I went to a convention in Houston.
Oh, yes.
Last summer. And we actually saw a girl dressed up as the grabber. And
she looked amazing.
She slayed her costume.
Hella slayed.
I think we both took
I took a picture with her. I can post it on Instagram.
We'll probably post it.
It
I don't
was
remember
so
if it looked good
cute.
or not. But yeah,
go her.
She did great. I think she even had the balloons, her makeup, or I don't know if it was a makeup or a mask.
It was a mask.
Either way, it was just amazing. And it made me happy because I was like, recognition.
And the movie was just like, not just came out, because I think the movie came out earlier. And then we went in the summer?
Honestly, I want to say it came out like maybe a month or two, but prior to us going.
She did. But she did really good.
Yeah.
Shout out to her.
Sure did, yeah.
Hope you're doing good, girly.
But yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I will say, I still haven't read the short story, even though I said I would. I still haven't read it. But I like the idea that they didn't want to overdo the whole clown thing.
I'm glad that we went down the magician route, or they went down the magician route.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like that idea, too.
We have so many things with clowns.
I was going to say, I'm glad that they didn't want to overdo the clown thing, because I feel like it's easy to make a clown so scary. Mm-hmm. Magicians are pretty creepy.
They sure are.
Okay? They can make you disappear.
They sure can.
And this grabber did exactly that.
Exactly that.
So, that's pretty creepy if you ask me.
The script was written in 6 weeks. The film was shot in 33 days.
33 days? That's a month.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, to be fair, a lot of the film is filmed in like one location. So I guess
the grabber's jewelry, 2 rings, and a silver bracelet are Ethan Hawke's own jewelry.
He was like, these ain't coming off.
Me? That's literally me.
He's like, I paid way too much money for these. Mm-hmm. They're going to be on the big screen.
Yep. Y'all, the line running through the wall on the basement from the phone is a reference to the poster of Sinister.
There is a line running through the basement wall.
Is a reference to the poster of Sinister.
That is true. I hope that one's true.
Because both Ethan and James, and of course this Jason Blum.
I was like,
Jason Blum, Ethan Hawke, and James Ransom are all part of the
Sinister. So I hope it's true, because that's actually a really cool like little Easter egg.
Yeah, that's so cute. And of course, Gwen with her yellow rain jacket.
In the rain, as a little Georgie.
And literally the red boots.
She even has the red boots and the jeans.
Yeah.
Good. I love seeing little references and Easter eggs from different horror movies. Anyway,
the last 3 I'll mention. Mm-hmm. It was Ethan Hawke's idea to have the grabber react with panic when Finney removes his mask. And he also suggested he slide fully into the hole after he was killed.
Well, I like that. Yeah. I hope that's true.
That's such a good improv.
Yeah, I love that. Because I was saying, I wonder if he thought about that, because you don't see his entire face throughout the whole film until. And
speaking of that, I guess I'll add a 4th one. The grabber has several creepy masks throughout the film, each exposing different portions of his face. They were designed by legendary prosthetic makeup artist. Can we guess?
Stop.
Tom Savini.
Oh my gosh!
And Mason said that the first time he saw the mask, coupled with Ethan Hawke's bone-chilling performance, he was terrified.
Bitch, I would be too.
Me too.
Okay, so we have the movie playing in the background, and right now the scene that's playing is where Finney has the phone in his hand because he is so ready to and just beat his ass.
Oh my god.
And the look that Mason specifically acts with, like his facial expression says it all. He went from being angry and ready and just being like, I don't have anything else, to just so soft and relieved and so holy fuck, you're not who I was expecting. And I'm so glad.
He's like hopeful.
He's so hopeful.
Oh my God.
And then
My
he
heart.
and he did all of that with saying no words.
Yeah, sweet
and you
baby.
can, and it makes you think like, sweet baby angel.
You made me kill my brother.
You made me kill my brother.
He was an
He
idiot,
was an
but
idiot,
he was
my
my
idiot.
idiot.
Okay, anyway. Okay, yeah, I love that. I love
Last
that.
one. Finney's conversations with the missing kids on the phone were shot with Mason actually speaking to those other actors on the phone.
Oh, I love that.
So it's like very
It kind of
genuine.
it gives like a genuine action or reaction to speaking with someone over the phone.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So since we're nearing towards the end, I think it's time for a little Would You Rather? Yeah. So this is a very harsh movie, to say the least. And it was pretty hard to come up with a Would You Rather. But because there are definitely some sensitive topics suggested in this movie, so the best we could come up with is, would you rather have the gift of seeing things in your dreams and coming true, or being able to hear and talk through the disconnected phone while being captive? So would you rather...
So in both situations, you're being held captive.
So you either fall asleep and you see things in your dreams that you're like...
That will help you
That would help you.
escape.
Or you can talk to previous victims through a disconnected phone and kind of go through like Finney's situation. Which honestly, both are kind of cool
They are both really cool.
to have.
I will say both of them helped each person in their own way. The dreams helped Gwen in her own way, and the talking to the dead kids helped Finney in his own way. You know what I mean?
100%.
How did he go back to school after that? I don't know.
Oh, I wouldn't.
I would have gone homeschooled.
I would have got homeschooled away from all the people.
I would have moved to a different state.
100%. That boy now, like you said, he's on medication.
100%. He's on some strong
He got
medication.
anxiety. He got depressy. He got paranoia. He got all the things. All the things.
So I think I'm gonna go with I would rather have the ability to talk through a disconnected phone.
I think I would too. I think I would like to have a little bit of insight from the previous victims, as sad as it would be, and as kind of morbid as it would sound. I think I would like to go, if I had to be in a situation that Finney was in, I think I would prefer to have communication with the deceased versus of having dreams like Gwen's. You the same?
Yeah, phone.
Okay, cool. Okay, so now that we're pretty much at the end of the episode, let's go ahead and rate this movie before we finish. So now, this is a horror movie, so we will have both of our scales, a scary scale and a satisfactory scale. Just because a horror movie is good doesn't always mean it's scary, so, and vice versa. So, Jessica, what would you rate this movie on both your scales?
Both of my scales, scary. Scary.
Scale.
I honestly, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
It was pretty scary.
There were definitely some jump scares that did get to me.
100%.
Not only that, but again, the psychological part of it.
It's pretty
Of
scary.
no one believing you, of being gaslit, of all of that, and
Some
the
trigger warnings in this.
were definitely very, very terrifying. So I'm gonna give it a high score for scary scale.
Scary. It was pretty scary.
Yeah. And then satisfactory, again, I really enjoyed this movie. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. No huge complaints. This is just me being annoying and needy, but I
Every day. Okay. Anyway.
I personally would have liked to see
More of the grabber.
more of the grabber. Yeah. But that's just me being
Okay.
me. But yeah, overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. What about you?
I like. I think the same. My scary scale is also the same. Mine's an 8 out of 10. I was on my seat. I was anticipated. I felt a lot of emotions, and horror, scared was definitely one of them. Psychological did its job with me. And yeah, feeling uncomfortable and eerie, they did the job for me. Loved it a lot. Not a ton of gore, so that knocks off 2 points. Now, as far as satisfactory, I give it a 10 out of 10. I liked everything about this movie. I liked it from beginning to end. I don't know, like an overall satisfactory. I left the movie theater feeling very satisfied when I first watched it. So I loved it a lot. And it's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Slay.
But all right, I think that concludes our episode of The Black Phone. So it looks like we are nearing the end, but as always, this was a blast to record. And thank you again, of course, to everyone tuning in and listening. We truly appreciate you all, and if you want to keep up with us, we will have our social media linked in the summary description.
Yes, and I know we always say this, but we sincerely do appreciate all of y'all for listening and supporting us as well. And just a little,
A little woohoo.
Little woohoo. We are so close to 6K followers on TikTok.
So let's go ahead and make it happen.
I think we're literally like maybe 50 away.
Yeah, so tell your horror freaks all about our TikTok and our Instagram feel-free social platforms.
And we're trying to get to 10K by this year, and I know that we will.
I think it's definitely possible.
Hey, what are the odds that maybe for some crazy coincidence chance that if we do make it to 10K on TikTok, we could do a little giveaway.
I love the word giveaway.
Partner with someone.
I hear free.
And hey, we are 5 away on Instagram for to 100.
To 100 followers.
If we get to 100, what are the odds?
What are the odds that we can do a giveaway?
A giveaway as well.
Which I think could happen.
I think could happen and will happen.
Will happen, for
sure. Will happen 100%. So,
yeah. And with that being said, if you enjoyed this episode, please tune into next week's episode where we finally talk about Barbarian. So we had said that we were going to cover it
a million years ago,
and we never did. But that is not the case this time. We are going to be covering Barbarian next week, and we are really excited. That was a movie.
Barbarian was a movie
within a movie.
Was a movie. Oh my god, no! I could literally talk ages about Barbarian, but we will save that.
We are going to save it and all the things for
episode.
That next episode.
So if you want to hear all my thoughts on Barbarian,
please tune in.
Please
join and tune in. We will definitely want to know your guys' thoughts on Barbarian if you've watched it, because goddamn,
that was a movie.
Because that was a movie.
Yes,
yeah, for sure. But yeah, we're excited. Thank you guys again, and we'll talk to you guys next week. As always, we've been your host, Monica
and Jessica.
Stay safe
and stay spooky.
Huh? Don't hang up.
Oof, that was scary. I can't wait to come back next week.